welcome back to 2024, where we only have a few weeks left until 2025, and today we're going to be talking about a very interesting topic, which is Payday 3. And how is this game doing? Is it still trash? Maybe. Is it better? Maybe. But anyway, let's talk about why fans still do not want to buy this game. Anyways, welcome back to another RenRants, the series I run on my channel where I talk about whatever I want, whenever I want. Mainly gamer-related content, but it's really whatever I feel like talking about. Today's video is a bit different though, because I do have a guest. This is something that hasn't happened before. Caution, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, my name's Caution. You can find me on my YouTube channel. Link's right here. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
All right, is there anything else you would like to add on?
Drafts are freakishly tall and they should not exist in the world.
All right. Well, anyway, guys, if you end up enjoying this video, please do like and subscribe, and let's go ahead and get into today's topic.
And what topic would that be?
So, the reason why we wanted to talk about Payday 3 is I'm sure you guys might have seen the news on it. It just recently had a Q&A session. Not only that, but I did recently just post a Payday 3 gameplay video, and I think I titled it Payday 2 is still better, which it is. So, we recently bought this game, and we played it for... I don't know, how long did we play it in total? How long were we active?
14 hours.
We replayed quite a few maps too. I mean, in total, we were able to get through all of the maps within 10 hours. It's probably less than that too, because we had a lot of bugs. We had a lot of loading issues. There was just quite a few issues overall. So, I mean, in total, you only have about 7 hours worth of gameplay. I would say 7 or 8 hours currently in Payday 3's state. And this game released over a year ago.
That's also like not even including us getting used to the menu and everything, because I was just looking at the Payday 2 menu and comparing it with the Payday 3, and a lot of stuff has changed with that as well.
Yeah, there's been quite a few changes, and not only that, but even some of our gameplay sessions we had, there was multiple bugs that were causing us not to find certain things. Literally the very first map that we play that you have, the very first mission, you have to start turning on breaker boxes, and then sometimes the breaker boxes go out and you have to return them back on, but there's no marker indicating where they're at, and you're sitting there trying to find them in hordes and hordes and hordes of cops, and you just can't find them. They're almost virtually impossible to find. And I think we spent like an hour just trying to find breaker boxes at the very end of one mission.
I remember I was trying to go around and find the last one because we'd already done the first two. And he was sitting up by the wall, and it looked like a, what's it called? It looked like a piece of like detail on the wall. Like it didn't look like a breaker box. It was just a piece of the wall.
Yeah, there's a lot to get into on the issues, and there's pros and cons to Payday 3, guys. We're gonna get in some pros and cons, but let's go ahead and actually dive in a little bit deeper into Payday 3. Let's go ahead and categorize this a bit better, guys. So we do have a few key points. We have some cons that we want to point out. We also have some pros. I guess we should go ahead and start with the pros for those who are listening in, because there are quite a few pros. Overall, I think the winning total is Payday 2 is a lot better by far. They really did not develop this game any further past Payday 2. If you're gonna buy a Payday game, it would still go with Payday 2, because quite frankly, it is just a lot better. But there are some pros to Payday 3 that we did end up liking.
I know for me personally, I really like the quality and the weapons and everything, because in Payday 2, there's like everything kind of looks a little blurry. You know, like everything's like, I don't want to say super pixely, but it kind of looks like, you ever played GTA 4? But it
yeah, it's been a while.
But, you know, like it's still fun nonetheless, you know. So like if you go from playing Payday 2 and then straight to Payday 3, you'll see the graphic difference between the two.
Yeah, I mean, it is a newer game. It is on Unreal Engine 4, which is why it is, you know, a little bit better. The devs in the Q&A session did say that they are considering moving it over to Unreal Engine 5. But in my opinion, I really feel like that's something that shouldn't even be messed with until they get, you know, the basic bugs that shouldn't even be in the game still out. But some more pros that I had to say, something that I really did like about Payday 3 is the lockpicking mechanic, as well as the body bag mechanic. In Payday 3, the hostage mechanics are a lot better as well. You can take as many hostages as you want. You don't have to worry about running out of zip ties for their wrist. You don't have to worry about running out of body bags. That's something that you don't have to deal with. You have unlimited body bags. As far as I know, you know, we only did play about 15 hours of Payday 3. So, you know, this is just surface thoughts and, you know, things we've noticed. Going back to another thing that we liked, guys, was the scroll wheel.
I like that you actually can give your character some personality. Shit, guard, shit, fuck, guard.
Guard, shit, fuck. Stupid fucking
guard
drill.
Here.
Piece of shit drill.
Piece of shit drill. Stupid fucking drill.
Find the executive deposit box.
Oh, is that not what this is?
I think so too. Why is he yelling?
Stop it.
Don't do that, man.
Fuck.
How did you fucking do that?
Hold middle mouse. Hold middle mouse.
Oh, so it's just like the old game.
Motherfucking fuck. Motherfucking fuck. Piece of shit drill. Fuck. Piece of shit drill. Piece of shit drill.
Thanks.
Wait here. Thanks. Motherfucking fuck.
Piece of shit.
Fuck.
Shit, fuck.
Piece of shit drill. Piece of shit drill.
Fuckaroo.
Piece of shit drill. Piece of shit
Piece
drill.
of shit drill.
Hey. Hey.
Hey.
Yeah, the that added on a little bit of some humor to the Payday 3. I thought that was great. And another thing that I thought they did great too was you used to be able to just spam through some things, like for example the shields. The shields, you used to be able to just spam through the little glass window and kill them. It was really easy. And Payday 3, it is not that easy anymore to kill the shields.
It's actually fairly difficult now. The
Yeah,
amount
when
of
you
times
get
that I've died to a shield.
Yeah, when you get close to them now, they actually slam into you with your shield, which kind of stun locks you for a second. And like I said, you can't shoot through the window, so you have to get behind them, hope that they don't turn and look at you to be able to kill them. So it's a bit more difficult. And I think that was a really great rework for the shields. If only the cloakers had a great rework. Unfortunately, they're just too overpowered. I honestly find the cloakers to be more difficult than the bulldozers. Yeah, overall, I would just say quality of life designs in Payday 3. There's some really great quality of life changes that they made, which made the game feel a lot smoother, and that was very refreshing. I think that was a great step forward, at least on that certain mechanic area. However, the game itself is such a big step down from Payday 2, and I think in my opinion and your opinion. Let's go ahead and talk about some of our cons and really the main reason why we are making this video today. This was Caution's idea. However, I was just gonna make this video by myself. The Boom Dude who normally plays, you know, in some of these multiplayer videos. He also played with us. He's not here at the moment, but you know, he shares the same sentiments as us. But I think we all pretty much had the same thoughts on this game, and I think we were all just a little bit disappointed. So we do have some strong feelings, and so he wanted to hop in, which is why this is a little bit of a, I don't know, like a thank you for coming to our TED Talk kind of video. It's like a little podcast in most. So, you know, with that said, let's go ahead and dive into the reason why we made this video, the reason why we wanted to just give all of you guys an update, because I'm gonna be honest, I think me, Caution, and Boom, I think all of us pretty much regretted buying Payday 3, and we got Payday 3 at a major discount. I believe we got it for what, like 15 bucks? It was on sale. Yeah, the game's doing that poor, guys, that it's already going on massive sales. It's been going on massive sales since, I don't know, like 5 or 6 months after release. Going into some cons, and some of these have changed. Some things have changed. The game has gotten updates. It hasn't gotten near as many updates that I think me, as well as pretty much every single other Payday 3 player, feels like it should have gotten, because there's not much effort going into Payday 3, or at least it seems to not have a lot of effort. But one of the biggest issues I would say that I have currently right now with Payday 3 is the DLC. And the reason why I have issues with the DLC is Payday 3's been out for a year and a couple of months. You know, like I said, it came out in, I think, September 2023. We're going on 2025 now. It's currently December. Almost. We got a few days until December 2024. There's already 4 DLCs out for this game. You know, each of them having their own map. And each and every single one of the DLCs is $10, which I think is completely ridiculous.
That's what, like, that's what, $40 for 4 maps. That's adding maybe like what, an hour? I'd say maybe like an hour or 2 of gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, $40 for another hour or 2 of gameplay really just isn't something that I think anyone really wants to pay for, especially when you consider the Elden Ring DLC. You know, Shadow of the Erdtree came out earlier this year. That's $40, and you have roughly, I don't know, an extra 200 hours worth of gameplay. You know, there's quality of life features that got bettered with it. You had tons and tons of gameplay added to it. Whereas Payday 3, you get 4 maps, you know, great, whatever, 4 maps. You know, I still don't think $10 a map really worth it. You do get a few new outfits. Once again, not really worth it, which we'll get more into the outfits here in a second. But one of the biggest issues I have is with the new DLCs, you get a few guns, which is great. But when you consider half of these guns are guns from Payday 2 that should have already been included, it's kind of like you're just repaying for some of the qualities that Payday 2 had. Some of the features that Payday 2 had, you're basically paying in a DLC for Payday 3, which makes no sense.
Yeah, because if it came free with the second game, I don't see why you can't get it free with the third game, you know? But kind of going along with the DLC thing, that's like with Payday 2, right? I bought Payday 2 a couple of years ago and have not spent a dime on DLCs. But I have the Scarface DLC. I have a bunch of DLC items that I don't have to pay for. I have a bunch of DLC guns that I haven't paid for that just like they just kind of gave out, you know, like, and I don't see why they did it, but kind of going along with those weapon things, you know, I just don't see why you have to pay for them for Payday 3 whenever you didn't have to on Payday 2. Kind of going back to what you were saying though about the DLC and comparing it to other games like Elden Ring. That's like with the Phantom Liberty DLC for Cyberpunk, right? I'm a huge Cyberpunk fan, right? I have 1,200 hours on Cyberpunk right now. And most of that was from playing the DLC after already playing over the beginning part of the game. The DLC adds on like 40 plus hours onto the main story. So you're playing the main story plus another story on top of that. So you already have a game on top of a game in like it just in itself. But if you're gonna pay $40 for something, I think that you should be able to like get like maybe not 4 maps, but maybe like 8. You know, add on to that list to make it where it's not 2 to 3 hours of gameplay. Make it to where it's like closer to 10. You know, you want to make it to where, oh, I can sit here for like 2 days straight and still not run out of stuff to do, you know. But if you're going to keep on playing the same mission over and over again and it's just copy and paste, it's going to get boring. And it does get boring. And that's how you're going to lose the fan base. That's how everything's just going to die out. And that's how you're going to get people to go back to the second game.
Yeah, and I mean that's a pretty good thing to note as well. I think one of my biggest issues with the DLC currently in the state that it is in is that they've released 4 DLCs, but the base game is still bugged out the ass. There's still massive loading times for stuff that shouldn't have loading times. Then, you know, there's just still lack of content. And then, you know, branching off onto replayability, being able to have fun with what's already there, it's basically non-existent, which leads us to our next point. So when I say that there's no replayability, I really do mean it, because here's the thing with Payday 2, and I know we're comparing this a lot, guys, and some of you may believe that the games aren't comparable, but they are very much so comparable. You know, that we got Payday 2, which was a great hit. It was really, really popular. And then we have Payday 3, and Payday 3 had what, almost 80k people at launch that wanted to play the game, and within the first month it dwindled down to 3,600, I believe. So the numbers are drastically cut down to a small few that, you know, were willing to put up with the mess that Payday 3 is. So I mean, I feel like some of these issues that we're saying, we do have some validity to them. There is a point to them. We are valid in our concerns. But going back to Payday 2, when you played a map, you know, sometimes certain things of the map would change, like certain items where they were located would change at, or, you know, there's certain, you know, different things that would change throughout the map, you know, where you had to find certain things. Sometimes the map layout would change, like especially the banks. I loved it when the maps changed. It gave you something new to play. It gave you a little bit of variation. Payday 3 does not do that. There is no variation change in the maps. What's there is going to be there no matter how many times you play that round. Or at least that was our experience. And we replayed quite a few maps. So, I mean, maybe I could be wrong on that, but I don't think so. And I've seen other people complain about how there really is no fun in replaying some of these levels.
Like, adding on to that, whenever we first started playing like that first map, right? We played Payday 3. We tried to do a stealth one, and we kept on restarting because we kept on fucking it up and everything. By the time we got to like maybe our 4th or 5th restart, we knew where everything was because nothing would change. It'd be like, oh, the blue key card's here. This guy's got the red key card. Okay. You know, this leads to here. This is where the switch is. This is like how to do this, blah, 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 blah. And like you said, it's just very repetitive. You know, if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, it's going to get tiring, and then it's going to get boring. There's no new element. It just doesn't make any sense on why you're going to keep on playing something over and over again if you just know exactly what to do and how to 100% it. Because I think if you know how to perfect something, it's just going to get boring. And if it's going to get boring, then you're not going to want to play anymore, and then you wasted your money.
And I'm sure some of you guys are probably listening to this and you're thinking, well, that's not true because you can change the difficulty levels and all that stuff. But I mean, in reality, besides getting overwhelmed with the amount of cops that are attacking you, there's really no variation in the maps. I mean, even still, like, let's go back to Payday 2. If the maps didn't change drastically, at least some maps we had like day 1, day 2, day 3, then we had longer missions. With these maps, they are very short. There's some longer ones, but majority of the missions on Payday 3, you know, the heist that you can pick, they are a lot shorter. They're very, very easy to complete because they are completely repetitive. So the minute you play one, you have it down, you have it memorized, and you know, there's only a few options you can do. You can crank up the difficulty, which will make it a little bit different, or you could try, you know, doing stealth or not, but in the end, it's all still the same thing. It's very, very repetitive. There's no incentive to replaying these maps because it's not fun to keep replaying them, unless you're maybe playing them once a year and then, you know, you want to go back next year and try it again. It's like a whole new world. But really, if you're trying to play this game often, it's just not different enough to make you feel encouraged to continue playing the same map. And going back into the, you know, replayability, you know, things getting stale and everything like that, you don't really feel encouraged to keep playing on a game when the wait times are through the roof. It took me 5 minutes to launch Payday 3 today just to look at a few things before we started recording, you know, making this video. The game should not take 5 minutes to launch.
So I don't know if it's because like it's a quote newer game, but you know, with how many people are playing it now, there shouldn't be such a long wait time just to open a game like that, especially whenever Payday 2 is a much bigger game and I can get in less than a minute.
And I do want to point out that this is a big issue, and the reason why I say this is such a big issue is because when the game launched, people were waiting on the servers just to be able to play a level, just to be able to play a heist. They were waiting for hours on end to be able to play a heist. Here we are, you know, like I said, we're going into 2025. It's a year and some months after it's released, and we're still having these wait time issues. And what makes it worse is it took 5 minutes to launch the game. And then going back to when we all played together, we would start a heist, and you know, when everyone's getting their loadouts finished up and you know, they're figuring out what they're gonna do, and you know, y'all hit ready up. Then there's a wait time. There's a little loading bar, a little loading circle for the ready up button to become available, which makes no sense to me. And I'm sure some of you might be thinking, oh, it's your internet, whatever. No, everyone's having these issues. It is a big issue and they still need to fix it. The servers should not be stalling for 5 minutes, which kind of also brings me to 2 bugs. There was one map that we all, me, Boom, and Caution, could not play it all together because every time we went to go start it, it would immediately kick me out. No matter if I was the lobby host or not, we could not play the train map together. It just would not allow me to do it multiplayer. The only way I was able to get onto the train map, which is one of the few maps they have available, is from me touching it in solo mode, which is in beta, by the way. You can't play the game, or you couldn't at least play the game solely by yourself without being thrown into a lobby with randos, at least at the game's launch. Now, obviously, people complained about it, as they should have, because that's completely ridiculous. And so they've added the solo play, but I just don't know why that was a quality of life feature that was cut out in between Payday 2 and Payday 3. As for some of the other issues we ran into, the cloakers, some of the AI in general, some of the NPCs, they're bugged out. They're formatted a little weird. They're just designed weird. For example, sometimes we would get attacked by a cloaker, and the cloaker would run through Boom and Caution, run around them, not do anything with them, not want anything to do with them, and then go specifically after me. We had some cases like that where one person was not doing anything and the cloaker would run past us just to go and attack them. There's a few instances where we had NPCs completely ignoring other players and just heading and targeting one player specifically, which obviously doesn't boast well, especially with the cloakers. The cloakers is another thing I kind of want to note on a side note here. The cloakers aren't bugged out per se, but the cloakers, normally there's a sound indicating that they're coming near you. You know the cloakers around once you hear that little siren sound. And in Payday 2, it's easily avoidable. You can kind of get prepared for it. In Payday 3, you can't. The minute you hear the cloaker sound is the minute he's knocking your ass down on the ground and just beating the living shit out of you. And I say that with full confidence, hence the clip, this clip right here, which I'm about to play for you guys. This was when we played right here. Now keep in mind, this cloaker right here that went and knocked me down actually ran through other players, other people he could have attacked. He came and attacked me, knocked me down on the ground, immediately ran, knocked Boom down on the ground, and then immediately knocked Jackson down on the ground and killed all 3 of us within a matter of a minute. Here first.
No, we're gonna just full
Are we
send it.
restarting?
I don't know. Are we? You already
No.
started hiding.
I'd say- I'd say no. I'd say
I'm
let's
getting
finish this and then do it quiet.
Okay.
Because I think we get more of a payout if we
I
do
think
it
I need to use the
quiet.
bathroom really bad though.
Oh, there's not a chance.
Always something with you, isn't there?
Would love to get in there if I wasn't being arrested.
I'm the fucking spark man.
Why don't you try fighting back for once?
Listen, I was in the middle of doing other shit. Damn it, I can't even get in fight fucking safe. Whatever. Yeah. Get shit. Dude, that shit just swapped over to Boom getting stoned.
I thought he was beating your ass, so I ran over with like 2 bullets of my gun down here. You're like, oh, I can't even fight back this time. Just take me.
Boom's getting stomped into the fucking ground by that guy. That shit was hilarious. Alright, I'm not gonna use the bathroom, man.
God damn it. I do remember that though. That shit was funny though.
It's a fucking funny clip.
Okay, I'll admit that was pretty funny. But yeah, no, like there were a bunch of times where I'd, you know, by like sitting next to a safe or something, you know, just kind of minding my own business, and I see a renegade coming around, and followed by a cloaker, and then Boom and I just start laughing because it's the cloaker just chasing her. But yeah, no, like she said, I don't think it's much of a bug, just more of like a scripting issue.
Yeah,
about
program. I don't know why they're
Yeah,
programmed
yeah.
that way. I mean, they like to target the shit out of me for some reason. I don't get it, guys. I'm not that great at the game.
It's pretty funny though. But yeah, no, there is definitely a problem, especially with the noises and the basically the warning sign about it, because yeah, I agree. There's more of a warning that you get in Payday 2 than you get in Payday 3 with it. Yeah, no, sorry, getting off track. But as for like the glitches and everything, I was having trouble loading in with Boom whenever I would try to load in. There were times where we couldn't even get into the same game. Like, I would get in, he would disappear, or he would get in and I would disappear. And it was getting more aggravating than annoying, because, you know, you want to play with your friends and everything, but then whenever you can't play after like 15 minutes or so, then you just don't feel like that you want to play anymore, and you're just like, man, fuck this shit. I'm done, you know.
But yeah, there's still just quite a few bugs. I don't know why the game is still as bugged as it is. Some of these are really easy quality of life fixes they could have immediately changed within a couple of days. Here we are, you know, a year after release, and it's still the way that it is. It's still a lot better than what it was at release, but honestly, it's still not at the quality it should be for a game that's, you know, preceding Payday 2, you know, that's the price that it is, and for a game that already has 4, not 1, not 2, not even 3, but 4 DLCs out. It's a bit ridiculous. I think another thing that was really just kind of disappointing about Payday 3, and we kind of touched on this earlier about how some of the DLCs include things from, you know, Payday 2, but the customization in Payday 3 isn't near as good. Really just the whole layout, the overlay of Payday 3 just isn't as good as Payday 2. There's lack of outfits. There's not near as many customization options that you could do with your outfits as what you used to be able to do in Payday 2. There's not near as many masks, which granted, a lot of the masks for Payday 2 slowly came out in the years. I get that, guys. You don't have to say it, I understand it, but still there's a lot of just really bland masks and the limited availability that Payday 3 has. Not to mention, if you do want a nice, cool mask, you really have to pay a lot of money. And the way you get this money is by playing the heist over and over and over. You get these special coins in Payday 3 that you can eventually save up and then use to buy the mask. You can't even buy, like, special masks, the really cool ones, with the money that you earn from your heist. You have to specifically buy it with this special Payday 3 coin.
That's like, it's like my favorite mask, you know, like the waifu mask. It's actually a pretty dope mask. I actually really want that one. But you have to spend, what is it? It's 400 credits. Yeah, 400 credits of that currency that you were talking about. I forgot the name of it. In order to get that, you have to spend the cash that you get from the heist to buy that currency. But you can only buy so much within a week. So then you can't get what you want right then. You have to keep on grinding. And then whenever you max that out, you gotta wait a week. So it's basically making you come back, like, which I 100% respect, you know. But then you have to redo everything that you just did again, and that's where that repetitive thing comes from, where You just got to keep doing the same thing over and over again. But then if you run out of maps, you're just going to keep doing the same thing over and over again. It's just going to get repetitive and boring, like I said, for like the 5th time now. And
Unfortunately, you guys are gonna keep hearing that. Yeah, you guys are gonna keep hearing the repetitiveness because it's just so repetitive.
It gets boring. Like when same thing happens over and over again. What is it gonna get? It's gonna get boring.
Yeah, I can't say that I have ever felt this way about Payday 2. Payday 2 had so much variation, and then, you know, if you got something, you got it, you could use it, you can customize it, you had special skin and mask coats you can put on. There's a lot of cool stuff you could do. Payday 3, it's very, very limited with what you get and then how you get it. Another thing that I also dislike when I go back to you know, customization lacking and, you know, all that stuff, we don't have melee weapons anymore. Something that you could change in your loadout when you have melee weapons, you know, you can have a machete, you can have a giant spoon. The giant spoon is fucking hilarious. I think the giant spoon was a great touch in Payday 2. You do not have that in Payday 3. There's no melee weapons. So when you're getting shot down and shot at by police and you're trying to reload, or if you don't have any ammo at all and you're just trying to figure out what to do, you can't just whack a police officer in the head and, you know, kill him or whatever. You have to sit there and just struggle while they're shooting at you. There's absolutely no way to protect yourself if you're out of ammo.
Yeah, no, the default melee in Payday 3 isn't as effective as even just the default melee in Payday 2. You know, because in Payday 2, you know, you like actually punch them and everything, but in Payday 3, it's like you're just shoving them. You know, like it doesn't really do much. But you know, like that's my biggest pet peeve with Payday 3 is the melee, because I thought the melee was like the best part, or at least the second best part, minus the offline mode. I'm really big on the melees and everything. I'd sit there, like you could even ask Renegade, I just sit there and just look at the melee sometimes whenever they're just waiting on me to queue up and everything. And you know, I personally use the grilling fork because I like how fast it is. But yeah, no, I like the spoon and, you know, the kitchen knife, the baseball bat, knuckles, the wad of cash that you can use. You know, like it like you can use a ton of variations of melee weapons in Payday 2, but in Payday 3 there's just nothing at all.
Payday 2, I started playing off VR because Payday 2 became a VR game, you know, eventually. And so when I was first introduced to Payday 2, I actually played it in VR, which means I was using melee like crazy. Do you realize how much you can spam like the machete, any kind of melee weapon in VR? Because you're basically just, it's doing what you do in real life. So I could sit there and just solely like one tap all the enemies with the machete. It was great. It was great. I thought the melee was hilarious. It was fun. It did a great job of taking care of the enemies when you didn't have any ammo. And if you just wanted to, quite frankly, do stupid shit on the map, doing melee and hitting people with big spoons and wads of cash was fun. It made the game interesting. It added a little bit of variety. But yeah, I guess the developers said, nope, you guys don't need that. That doesn't matter. And took it out of Payday 3. There's just so many quality of life features that they've taken out, which quite literally makes no sense to me.
Yeah, no, like some of the stuff that's disappeared from Payday 2, and they just like never brought it back in Payday 3, or like it's really disappointing. Like a lot of it is what we mentioned, you know, like the offline, the certain guns, the masks, you know, the maps. Yeah, no, it's just very aggravating, the stuff that they took out that were almost the best qualities in Payday 2. Yeah, no, another thing that I'm like super irritated about is that they got rid of the guns akimbos. They got rid of just being able to have 2 guns in your hands and just start blasting away. You know, like that was probably one of the best options that we had in Payday 2, because you can have akimbo pistols, akimbo SMGs, shotguns, you know. Like, especially the shotguns, you know, like you can take down a dozer in like not even a second with dual wield shotguns. But in Payday 3, you only get the single shotgun, and plus you gotta wait on reload time. You gotta wait on the like whatever modifications that you have on it, you know, and it's just super aggravating.
So, I mean, that pretty much summed up most of our issues with the game. Granted, we didn't touch on every single little thing just because we don't have hundreds and hundreds of hours worth of time in this game. Unfortunately, it's just not as good as Payday 2. We actually went back and played Payday 2 after Payday 3 just because Payday 3 was such a letdown. But I do want to say, considering the time, the release of this video, they did just have a Q&A session the other day, and, you know, they answered some questions. You know, they wanted to touch up a little bit, let everyone know that Payday 3 is still being worked on. which you guys should keep that in mind as well. We are keeping that in mind, you know, with this video. We will touch back on this topic at a later date when Payday 3, you know, eventually gets better. If it does get better, a lot of people think the game's gonna die. I'm still undecided on if that's the case or not, but you know, you can't tell. We don't know now. But however, there was some unanswered questions because, you know, the devs have been kind of pussyfooting around, quite frankly, on, you know, getting back in touch with stuff. But so as for some of the issues we had, the full offline mode, the solo mode, the devs did say they currently have no update to share on regarding offline mode, or, you know, the continuance of solo mode. So for any of you guys that were hoping that Payday 3 would eventually get into offline mode, keep holding out on that, because that is going to be a long while. They can't even share any insight at all into the possibility of an offline mode, which is very, very wild to me, considering it was so easy for Payday 2 to have an offline mode.
Now, another question that was asked to the devs was, how are you going to help against the lack of replayability? They said, the lack of replayability is an important topic we are discussing on how to address as part of the continued development of the game. There's no news to share right now, but this is an important part of the game we need to fix.
Another question that is commonly asked, or has been asked as of recent, is why should I as a customer spend money on Baxter when this is how you handle Payday 3, your supposed top priority? And guys, just a little side note on this, a lot of people are saying that Project Baxter is the reason why Payday 3 is not getting a lot of limelight right now. I just want to say, as my personal opinion here, I couldn't really give an opinion. I think a lot of people think that Baxter is the result of this. However, I don't believe that's the case. I just believe that they have their priorities in a rut right now, especially with, you know, Baxter being a D&D game, and they're seeing the success of Baldur's Gate. I'm sure a lot of people are ready to start making a game that's similar. But, you know, once again, don't really have an opinion on this. But, you know, this is a good topic to bring up because I think majority of the people that dislike the way Payday 3 is right now do believe that it is because of Project Baxter. And their response to the question, by the way, was, we do our best to learn with every game project we create. And while launch for Payday 3 was absolutely terrible, the team has since worked hard to regain the trust of the community this past year. My personal opinion, you guys have not done enough. You guys should have released the updates that took you a year to come out within the first week of the game being shit. But, you know, I rest my case on that, guys. I am being a little harsh just because, like, you had the perfect format of Payday 2 that you could quite literally copy and paste into Payday 3 in Unreal Engine with some slight changes, and the game would have launched successfully, you know, minus the server issues. You guys completely chose to throw away everything that people liked about Payday 2 and re-edit it around in your own Payday 3 way, and I really just don't get why gaming companies decide that they just want to throw away everything that people actually like about games. But anyways, they did also ask, how do you plan to regain the lost players that gave up on Payday 3? And, you know, honestly, I think this is a really great question, and the reason why it's a great question is because Payday 3 is ass. To be quite frank, Payday 3 is ass. And they claim that it's by leading with proof that the lost players want to see actions, not words. And guys, that is 100% correct. So tell me why it took you a whole year, and you're still working on it, a whole year to fix some of the bugs that should have been fixed before release, or at least within the first month of the game being out. But anyways, I rest my case on that.
So another important topic that somebody asked, any more collaborations planned? Payday 3 said, yes, that's it.
So guys, we might have another John Wick case going on where there will be some unique little appearances here and there, but as for right now, we are still waiting.
Somebody asked, Renown rework. Renown is something we want to address, but this is currently isn't a priority. So we probably wouldn't expect it within the next about 4 years, I'd say, or ever. Speaking
of something that's never maybe happening, they are considering upgrading the Unreal Engine 4 to Unreal Engine 5. It's not ruled out, they are considering it, but it isn't a priority either, and I'm glad that it's not a priority, guys, because your priority should be fixing the base game rather than getting a little bit better of a graphic. But, you know, I rest my case.
I mean, I'm just saying, I wouldn't mind a little bit of a better graphic.
I don't think better graphics is a bad thing. I like the way the graphics are right now. I just feel like if I had a game that had the potential to make me millions immediately, and I fucked it up, I would immediately want to start fixing it as fast as I can, and as detailed as I can, and they're not doing that, which is very disappointing, especially when this game had a lot of hype around it.
Oh yeah, 100%. This game had this game was really anticipated, and everybody's pretty disappointed by the downfall, especially at launch.
And really the last thing, guys, that I want to state too with the consideration of this video, you know, changes will happen. We are only a year and a few months into this game being out. They did say that they are going to continue making updates. That's still going to happen, but to spare the team from extra pressure, they do want to avoid from promising dates ahead of time unless they're confident in hitting them. So I think we might slow down a little bit on some updates, or at least major updates. But, you know, only time will tell, guys. You know, obviously the game's still new. We can't fully hold it to the same standard we do for Payday 2 because Payday 2 became great over time. Payday 2 slowly got more maps over time. They slowly got more masks over time. They slowly got different, you know, customization tools over time. Payday 3 is still relatively new. I think the biggest issue with this is that they had the format sitting in the palm of their hands and they completely threw it away down the garbage and fucked up Payday 3, which is why everyone's so upset. The devs are still promising that they're going to do their best to deliver Payday 3, but as for right now, guys, I do think it's still in the current disappointing state. I do think if you can get the game on sale like we did for 15 bucks, that's a little bit reasonable. Now keep in mind, you only have a limited amount of missions, which will eventually grow, hopefully. But if you want a few extra, you can spend, you know, another $40 to get those 4 DLC maps, you know, with some of the Payday 2's recycled stuff. But as for right now, guys, definitely think you should hold off on buying the game unless it's on sale. Also, on another note, guys, before we fully end this, do you guys miss Bane? I miss Bane. What about you?
I miss Bane. Bane is awesome.
Yeah,
I
Bane is
absolutely love
awesome.
Bane, especially his
By the way,
sarcasm.
guys, yeah, Bane's no longer there. Bane passed away in Payday 2, unfortunately. We are with a new lady now. Her name is Shade. She's not as good. So if you guys really liked Bane, unfortunately, the new lady's just not hitting that spot for me. For anyone, really, I think. But anyways, with that, guys, let me know your thoughts on Payday 3. Let me know if you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you're currently waiting for some new updates to come out. I think a lot of people, from what I've seen, are still holding off on buying it just because it is such a train wreck right now. The devs have promised that it will be getting better, so hopefully with time, we could see if it will get better. A lot of people are still speculating that this game will die. I, for one, am going to hold off on some opinions on that until, you know, we see some more action taken. And with that said, guys, if you end up enjoying this video, please do like and subscribe. If you like Caution me in these videos, well, go and like and subscribe to him too. He doesn't really have much release, but, you know, he does do Twitch. He's more on Twitch than me. I'm more of a YouTuber, but you know, we're still figuring it out. I should start back streaming soon, and he hopefully will get some YouTube videos out soon, so we're kind of flopping. But you guys will see more of him, obviously. I might do some more videos formatted like this with him around, as well as a few other people. But once again, please do like and subscribe, and yeah, we'll see you guys later.
Don't forget, giraffes are scary and they're super tall and they should leave.
Cool beans. See you guys later.